Hello, I'm Andrea, a PhD student at Thünen-Institut located in Rostock, Germany. Today I'm on board in a commercial fishing vessel in Iceland to tell you more about my work. So, I'm working with these small acrylical spheres to try to reduce bycatch of toothed whales around the world in gillnet fisheries. Come with me that I will tell you more about it.
The harbor porpoises, this beautiful small cetacean, is our focus species. Because of their preference for coastal habitats, they are very vulnerable to bycatch in gillnet fisheries. One hypothesis is that they cannot identify the net as a barrier because they can only detect the bottom and the top lines of the net, which may lead them to think they can pass through it. So, we developed a modified fishing gear that we called PerlenNetz, designed to be more acoustically visible to these animals and potentially allow them to avoid it. We achieved this by attaching small acrylical spheres to the netting, which act as acoustic reflectors. Here you can see how they look like. After many measurements and acoustic simulations, we developed these small acrylical glass spheres, only 8 millimeters in diameter, that produce a very strong echo at the harbor porpoise click frequencies. We can observe this in an experiment using an echo sounder at 120 kHz, our focus frequency. In standard nets, the only acoustic reflections at this frequency come from the bottom and the top lines, while the pernet clearly shows reflecting along the net, indicating that these animals would be able to detect it. However, before testing a new fishing gear, we must first ensure that it does not reduce the catch of fish target species. So far, the results are very positive in Denmark, Germany, and Turkey. In addition, the new net must not increase handling time, because time is money for fishers. Here again, we obtain a very good results in Germany. So, to investigate whether the pernet can actually reduce harbor porpoise bycatch, we conducted trials in Iceland, specifically in Akureyri, working on a commercial fishing vessel targeting cod.
However, although we are having bycatch events in these trials, this data is not enough for our statistical analysis. We don't have the significance that we are aiming for. So, our next step now is to, through collaboration with different fishers in different fisheries around the world, is to try a long-term monitoring program. So through that, we would collect enough data for our analysis and finally answer the question if the pernet is reducing bycatch and potentially be used in different places for different species.
The good news is that we are already seeing the tendency that the pernet is actually reducing bycatch. Of course, there is still work ahead, more testing, more refinement, and long-term monitoring. But every step brings us closer to a gear that could significantly reduce bycatch of harbor porpoises and potentially other toothed whales around the world. By combining acoustic science, fishing technology, engineering, and collaboration with fishers, we are working to a solution where sustainable fishing and marine mammal conservation can coexist. And that is actually the kind of innovation we hope for. Simple ideas, grounded in science, that you can create real change in the ocean. Thank you for listening. Bye!